Um, Thank you all for being here. Lama Rod isn't with us today, so you're stuck with me. It's an honor to be stuck with you. And in this moment, I just really want to honor whatever it was like for you to exist today. And recognizing that that might hit different for each and every one of us. Even from this moment to the next moment, maybe it's different for you, you know? So just really want to welcome and invite that kind of vastness and also that kind of specificity of everything that's real. And maybe especially everything we wish wasn't real right now. My name is Eric. I use he, they pronouns, and I am tuning in from Minneapolis on the lands of the Dakota and Ojibwe, and I'll be saying more about that later. Thank you very much to my Karen Z. Where would I be without you? Where would we? Just thank you for everything you do to hold down this space. I also would like to give a shout out to Renee Rivera, who quite inspired me last week. And so we'll be carrying through in a similar, I don't know, it feels like Renee dropped a beat, and I like the beat. So we're going to do the beat. Yeah. But before that, I also just wanted to take an opportunity to, yeah, just speaking from my heart, want to share appreciation for these community-led practices. And sometimes I'm like, Eric, are you just saying this because you want to like talk about how wonderful everything is and you want to, do we like, am I like somewhat lifting just to like make myself feel like I'm in a cool, and then I very quickly let myself let go of that nonsense. Because I'm sure there's so many, I'm sure there's so many spiritual communities, or maybe they don't think about themselves in that context at all, that are gathering regularly, just like we are. Trying to do something really important together. Week after week after week after week, as the world is changing around us. And that makes me feel better about things, about happenings. And I've also been really touched just by the way it feels so special. It's like this active relationship between what is like really, really local for all of us in our boxes, in our rooms, in our spaces, in our neighborhoods, in our regions, on the land that we're abiding on. And so it's intensely local and intensely global simultaneously. And I just think it's really special. So I want to just say thank you. And I do not speak for Lama Rod, but I do know that he is deeply appreciative of everyone. just like coming out in that vulnerability and offering something for the benefit of all beings. And there will be more opportunities for community-led practice, especially because, Lama Rod is just busy, busy, busy. And something that I really appreciated him communicating in like one of our team meetings was just such clarity around like, it's important that I make space for myself to rest. Which was like the most Lama Rod way to say, like, to set a boundary ever. Right? We're like so lovingly, right? Because he loves offering and he loves being in community. He enjoys it. And he's just been reflecting on how much spaciousness for him enables just everyone to keep being free and authentic in the way that, I don't know, we deserve to be. So that's not to put any undue pressure on anyone, but there is something sweet in my mind about having the autonomy amongst each other as spiritual friends to do good work together, even when dear Lama Rod, who's, we all know how charismatic Lama Rod is, right? And like, I for years have just, sometimes I just lay down, I'm like, Rod, do everything, please. Take. Which is, I don't blame myself, but that, there's a time and a place for that. And then there's a time and a place for that's just not gonna, there's something cruel about me needing that from him and about me thinking that he can constantly give me that, And so the community-led Medicine Buddha is, in my mind, just a really sweet way to create spaciousness, not just for Lama Rod, but for all of us, And so if you've been coming to Medicine Buddha for a while and you've heard us extend the invitation, but you're like, I'm not, all those reasons are valid. I want to just, there is no pressure or stress. This ain't that kind of situation. And if you have some power and some healing to offer, and maybe an edge that you'd like to crash through in this loving space, then I really just encourage y'all to try it. And again, I think it's so important because it's that local and global thing, right? It's not just about how Lama Rod does it, and then we get a script, and then it's like everyone trying to be as much like Lama Rod as possible, right? It's so much more interesting than that, in my opinion. So more dates will be coming up for that. No need to worry about that right now, but I just wanted to plant some seeds in case anyone just needed a little bit of creative invitation to claim your authority, to be able to share these practices. And because there's, with in the spirit of spiritual friendship, particularly because I just don't think anything's going to be getting easier anytime soon. So it's good to flex these muscles, I think. And on the similar vein, if you'd also like to support in the tech hosting mode, if the offering the practice is too much, that's too much. But tech hosting and on the back end, hanging out with Karen Ziegler and myself, and learning how to support in that way. You're welcome to show up. You get we try to send the link out about 15 minutes or an hour beforehand. and you're welcome to join 15 minutes early. And like no high stakes pressure, like here's how you learn, here's the technical manual. It'll be a shadowing kind of thing, as if we could enjoy learning processes together. Sorry, I'm cynical about everything. So that's why I think what we're doing is radical. We could just enjoy learning together and while at the same time distributing the knowledge around so that uh, we're all just helping each other. Dear Karen, anything you'd like to say on that front? And if not, that's cool too.
I just want to say, let us know that you're coming early to be part of tech so that we know to let you into the room.
Yeah. And so that invitation's out there. Don't worry, there's not a sign-up sheet. I didn't want to I don't want to proliferate too many links. So I just wanted to plant the seed now for anyone to think about. But I think the lotus is opening to be able to really welcome your generosity in either of those ways. I think I feel complete on that front. And in the spirit of Renee's offering last week, just to give folks a sense of how we'll be using our time together, I would really like to just open up the space as we did last week. And in particular, I don't have a preference. Anything that wants to be shared, let it be shared. And I am curious in particular if there's anything that folks are struggling with in relationship to the practice. We all know, we love, we all know all, all the reasons, all the ways, and we probably feel, some of us, the ways that we've changed a lot in relationship to this practice. But speaking from myself, like I know I've had feelings sometimes about how this thing is or is not going. And I feel like it's really important to not only, not that we do this, we're always honest, but I'm always weary of spaces where you can only say the positive things. And maybe in my body, I'm feeling not so much in the vein of like asking for advice, although, and or like maybe the way we hold each other is simply by listening, and maybe it's not a thing that we're responding to. Or and at the same time, if you can say that you would like to hear other people's thoughts on anything you might be struggling with, then feel free to do that as well. But I just want to bring into the space that let's not assume that people are asking for our opinions about their profound spiritual practice. As much as I know everyone's dying for my opinions. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, and happy to just surf the waves together and see whatever makes sense in the next moment. What's up, Carla?
Hi. I actually received a Medicine Buddha empowerment late last year. And just in that vein, I would really love to hear from anyone in this space who's received any transmission that they've struggled to understand. I feel like my experiences have just been really like messy and beautiful and scary. And, in the spirit of just kind of opening the space up for sharing, I've been going through kind of like a wild sorcerer's apprentice, Mickey's Mouse-ish kind of, journey here. But yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone.
Hi, Kaylee. Did I say your name correctly?
did. I would love to respond to Carla. Well, first, I guess I have a clarifying question. And forgive my not being on camera right now. My body needed to be in the tub. So that's where I'm coming in from. So I guess just a clarifying question for you, Carla, because I feel like this may resonate. Are you speaking to, um, I guess I'd like to know what transmissions you mean in particular, like breakthroughs or literal messages from guides or, that kind of thing.
As far as I understand it, I just went through a very traditional medicine Buddha empowerment. I don't know if this is helpful to contextualize, but it was at Ganden Choker uh,
Mhm.
with Lodro Rinpoche, who's actually lovely Rachel's teacher. Rachel Wooten is here tonight, I think. Um, yeah, I haven't really, and I mean, the event was bookended with just like beautiful teachings about what we were going through, but I still struggle with, that fine line between just understanding and reconciling like my past experiences of this practice, particularly like in this space, and the empowerment itself, and all of the practices that have followed and continue to follow, and not getting too caught up in just like making sense of my relationship with the practice, but just like, I don't know, having these kind of unexpected experiences. I was just wondering if like anyone else has received, such like an ancient empowerment and just kind of not really been able to find anyone to connect with about it, because that's been my experience.
Thank you for the clarity. Yeah, I wanted to make sure, I feel a general empathy for you, in terms of not making sense of things and not feeling like you can find somebody else you can connect with during especially liminal spaces, I feel like is what happens when you receive something that you again try to make sense of. I love the permission Lama Rod gives all the time about stop trying to make sense of everything. I hope it's not an infringement on your invitation to say I have not been through traditional empowerment, like you were expressing, um, but have through this practice felt like stepping through thresholds in which you feel simultaneously more isolated than you have ever been and more held than you have ever been. Um,
Yes, resounding.
Wonderful. I mean, wonderful. So heard and felt. I love that you brought that to this space so that we can remind each other that we are not alone in this and that we are, although our individual experiences certainly feel isolated, the interconnection that we experience here and in our practice, does tether us to practice and um, to that letting go of making things make sense. Um, yeah, so thank you for that. That helped me hear you voice that. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Like both of you. Susanna, would you like to go next?
Yes, thank you. Um, I received a transmission for Medicine Buddha from um, Lama Ardian, I don't know how to pronounce it, Rinpoche, who is here in Montreal, where I am now, but my Sangha is in Mexico City, and he came there. So when I took it, it felt very beautiful. And I guess I just got used to not really understanding what's happening ever. And now sort of given up on trying to understand. But when you ask for it in terms of connection, I felt connected to the practice, like very much. But I sometimes don't feel connected at all, like, or very much to the Sangha in general, because, it being from Mexico, like sometimes I find it hard to find people also from Mexico in these places that sometimes are very expensive to attend and to find. You have to pay for first you have to learn how to speak English and speak English. Then you have to pay for an airplane. Then you have to pay for your way there and then back. So sometimes what I find the Sangha is very the comments I get from Mexico are from a place that is very loving, but that I politically don't connect with. And so when really just around last October, that everything, started happening, well, that at the beginning was not a genocide, but that at the beginning it was just this political turmoil in Palestine. And then little by little has been escalating, or not little by little. Anyway, at that moment, I just felt I really needed to know how to practice what I was learning, but in very practical ways. Just it felt very urgent, and that made me feel not that connected with my Sangha either. And then I heard this interview of Lama Rod in Tricycle, that I follow them on Instagram. And then I immediately started reading the books, and then I registered, and then I found the Sangha that I have been coming just very recently, and many times because of work I can. But everyone in the Medicine Buddha prayers were always writing about Palestine and to help. And then that made me feel very connected, and that made me feel like it just brought a different understanding to me of what Medicine Buddha was. And I already really felt that, when I went was because a friend of mine had leukemia, and he was going to actually be having a baromon I don't know how to say it, but the bone that is where leukemia is, it was just that whole surgery. So I really I have a lot of faith, but then I really feel it actually works. So when we were not in my Sangha, dedicating to Palestine, it made me feel very disconnected. And so now, and then also because everyone is white, and I've just been very extremely fortunate, or maybe good karma, that scholarships had brought me to these different places. So I like a lot that Lama Rod talks about race and talks about class. It just brought everything together for me. And I don't want to take more time, but maybe I can write you, because I do also go to a lot of witches in Mexico, and it all sort of comes together. So maybe that's why I'm used to never understanding, but just believing that it really like makes a difference or it works, and that I don't need to understand to connect, that I just have to feel connected, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you for being here. And whenever you're able to make it, just thank you for what you contribute to this work we're all doing together. And whether that's a drop, every 6 months or every single week, equality. Because it's whatever is real. And I just want to say that for everyone, my opinion. And speaking of witches, now, Sharon, I don't know if you identify as a witch, but if you'd like, if you're next.
Well, I've been putting my hand up, taking it down, putting it up, taking it down, because so many of my beautiful Sangha mates have voiced part of what I wanted to say to Carla, which is empowerments are not a cognitive process. So struggling to understand is I'm not found to be very helpful. And for those of you who've been here, I am I identify as a witch, but also as an intellectual. So I can think a thing, I can think about anything. But my first empowerments, like Susanna, were in witchy settings and having contact rituals with other deities outside of Buddhist practice. And the second thing I wanted to say was about about feeling alone and not having anyone who understands and can talk to you about this. This is a common experience as you expand your understanding, or let me speak for me. As I have expanded my understanding of what it is to be a citizen of the cosmos and a multidimensional spiritual being, very few people can speak that same language or talk on that level about what's going on. And that's a lonely place to be, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I see heads nodding. And one of the things about this community is that I can be confident that when I come here, I'm going to find people who are in their own little boxes, as Eric said, in their own little communities, having that shared experience, whether we talk about it or not. So two pieces of advice, and my mother always said free advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. So two pieces of free advice. One is, as your vibration shifts, you will attract people who vibrate at similar levels. So you can relax about that. That we're not as common as dandelions, but there are a lot of us out there, a lot more than you really think. So you will find your people, your tribe. And secondly, part of being a spiritual leader, which is what attunements call us up for or into, is that you carry things for the community and for the world that other people don't understand. And that's kind of that may be your role in samsara. I am recently coming to terms with the kind of Chironic path. I've always heard Chiron described as the wounded healer, but Chiron is also the shaman. So that work that I do in the world is for me to kind of connect with spirit, and not for me to be able to explain to anyone else or to expect any really validation, appreciation, or understanding from anyone else. And I'm going to stop talking because, as you all know, I could talk the whole hour. But thank you for letting me speak. And I love you, Eric. And I was just as excited as you to see Aisha here. And I love
Oh,
you too, Karen. Actually, I
everyone.
love all of you.
Aaron,
Thank
I'm
you.
so grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. Whew. So much wisdom. I would like to take a moment to invite folks to offer any prayers that are on your heart today, um, and share them in the prayer doc, which I believe has been shared in the chat. I could actually just check, Eric. Chat.
It's
Yeah,
there.
it's there. I should have known. That was my way of being like, Eric, you can open the chat. You can keep tuned. Um, yeah. Oh, well, Miss Aisha. We'll leave time, Rachel and David. I see both of you. But I really want to just honor Miss Aisha's generosity and share.
Thank you so much. Thank all of you for being here when I wasn't here because bedtime uh, or layout time and don't hear nothing time. But this community is my community. And I want to call in because they're not fragile here. If you don't know, they're not fragile. And the reason you know they're not fragile because I'm here. Uh, And so I want to call in Haiti. I want to call in Sudan. I want to call in West Baltimore. I want to call in St. Louis, East St. Louis. I want to call in. I want to call in my son. I'm moving toward the anniversaries of Sadiq's death. And this madness kills everybody, including my son. And so please pray for me. I put another prayer request in here because I got some grandchildren alive. And this world don't love them. I'm so glad that some of y'all are chanting and praying because I am here because in 1619 somebody prayed for me. And in 1727, the Quran says they plot and they plan, but Allah is the best of planners. And so that just supports me. I be working Medicine Buddha, and he like, girl. But he can take it. He all right. But I would just, to me, this practice supports the energy to continue and not the grind that we've been doing. I know I've been doing, I think y'all been doing too, but energizes. It can be magical because my folks made a way out of no way. And in physics, in terms of science, you're not supposed to be able to do that. But we did that, and we do that, and we do that. But I just would invite you to continue opening your hearts so they can break and break and break and break, and you can cry and cry and cry, because that's what this shit do. I come from a culture of women that rock and cry and care and rock and cry. And some of the babies they rocked weren't their babies and didn't look like them. Please don't forget that. We can critique the circumstances that put Mammy in that position, but please praise her and uplift her for her spiritual majesty. Please do that as you move through all things far and near, because we so often miss the spiritual majesty of the least of these. Llamas is good, but they're going to die too. Everybody's dying. So I just wanted to share, and thank you, Eric, and all of you for being so kind. but I'm doing what I do uh, in Baltimore and other places. And so don't let CNN or Facebook fuck you up. Okay, because that's what they're there for, to fuck you up and to encourage despair. Please know that there's folks out here on corners at the community center. I'm one of them. So don't feel lonely. We right there. We right there. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Miss Aisha. David, I believe you were next, and I also would like to protect some time for our practice. So there's that.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I'll be quick. Yeah, following Sister Aisha. Wow, may it be so. Yeah, I do plant medicine. I just came out of ceremony on Friday and did a Bardo retreat Friday, Saturday, and Sunday online with Turgar, Mingwa Rinpoche, and man, I died in ceremony or resisted dying or was reborn. I don't even know what it was, but I was in the Bardo, and so everything I'm hearing today is a transmission. So I really appreciate the shares and the wisdom that's coming through. Just want to share a particular transmission through this medicine community. You were part of it, Eric. I sent a question to you to relate to Lama Rod. I think you had said to me to just send the email, which was fortunate because then Spirit communicated a further download transmission about all of it. My question was about whether our practice is codependent rather than interdependent, and when we try to help others, whether we're just rescuing. And so that was I was going to say the ceremony. That was the meditation when Lama Rod referenced that song. I think it's "I Believe," or no, I'm sorry, "We Don't Need Another Hero" by Tina Turner. And yeah, man, Spirit brought me to Reservation Dogs that night after I sent you the question. And yeah, it was all about grief and the death of their friend. And at the end, the saxophone player, I forget his name, from Lost Boys. And that was a deep download for me as well from my childhood. But and in that episode, there was White Jesus that was leading them. Which was, again, another download on so many different levels about salvation coming from another or coming from myself, the Buddha nature within. Who's going to save me? We don't need another hero, whether that be Jesus or even the Buddha. See him on the path, kill him. So yeah, man, the transmission was fierce, and was able to read about that episode and learn even more about what we're doing in this practice, about what Lama Rod, the medicine that he's offering, and how that medicine is to work within each and every one of us to heal ourselves and hopefully, man, interconnectedly heal others, release them all. Because as my salvation goes, so does the other, and as yours goes, so goes mine. So yeah, that was my transmission, and so grateful. I think it was Sharon's talking about shamanism. Yeah, I love that this community is accessing spirit in a deep way, and that Lama Rod can bring it forth when he's yeah, doing his thing. So that was a powerful transmission. So thank you all, and thank you for this
Thank
space,
you very much, David.
helping me to work through some stuff. So aho, ashe. So it is.
Thank you for being here, David. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Eric. I really am going to try to be brief. I just want to say something to Carla, which is I've been through lots of these transmissions, and I can't say that I feel like I understand any of them on that level of reasoning. And what I have found over the years and years and years of doing the practices, And I don't do all the practices. I'm not going to drive myself crazy with that. I love what Lama Rod says. I agree with him. You just need one thing. That's my feeling. But if you really do the practice will teach itself to you. The practice is a living entity. It will teach itself to you. And I also believe this, whatever you need to know will come to you. I'm convinced of that. And that you don't have to worry about that. And I really believe that, or I wouldn't say it. And then the other thing is listening to, what's her name? Brene Brown. You know Brene Brown. She's offloaded some really great psychological stuff. And I was listening to a tape of hers, a teaching of hers on a tape. And she was so funny, you know. She said, look, every single one of you, the first thing you do when you go into a room is you're going to look around and figure out how you don't belong. Just stop it. And I think she's right. I can go anywhere and not belong. Anywhere. And the way I decide I don't belong is just weird. So then to try to flip that around and realize, you know, we belong everywhere. And we really belong to each other. So, yeah, I think we just need to be nice to ourselves for one thing and be delighted to see each other. It's just amazing. That's all I want to say.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was short, wasn't it?
We're all doing great on helping each other relate to this thing called time. I need help. Thank you for helping. So, with all of that wisdom resonating in my bones, I extend the invitation to enter into doing some work together, whatever that means for you. If that means you just shut off the camera and you do literally no questions, you do whatever you need to do, whatever works. No one's policing or monitoring how you do hard work. You feel me? So just allowing yourself to, I don't know, for me lately, it's like, may I enter into a willing suspension of disbelief that I am anything other than what I am. And like, that's it. Just like take the phone off the hook and just let the dial tone keep going or something. Is that a thing? Where dial tone's a thing? Yeah. Burn. Not connecting. Or just whatever that space looks like for you. Settling in rest into whatever is conducive to living and surviving and having joy in the face of all of this catastrophe. It's a big task, so, you know, be easy on yourself. Find your posture. Yeah. And just from my heart, I wanted this interesting local and global at the same time kind of thing has been resonating with me. I was driving my partner to work the other morning, and I heard this artist, I don't know if anyone's in Minnesota or Minneapolis, the Current, Minnesota Public Radio, take all of my money. They just give all of this amazing music, stuff that I never have heard before. And they were playing this song by this artist, Joe Rainey, who I had never heard of before, but is, he's from Minneapolis, which makes me feel like super proud. And so for today's practice, and then we'll move into the chanting and prayers, I just want to read this little excerpt about this artist, about the spirit in which their music is being shared. And then for those of you who resonate with the self-liberation of sound, We can just sort of work with this kind of transmission. If it's not a transmission for you, that's totally fine. If not, if it's transmission from this heart to wherever it's helpful. Where are my documents? Here we go. So I dropped the link to more info about them as well. But Joan Rainey is a Red Lake Ojibwe powwow singer who demonstrates his command of the style descending from indigenous singing that has been heard across the waters of what is now called Minnesota for centuries. Depending on the song or the pattern, his voice can celebrate or console, welcome or intimidate, wake you up with a start or lull your babies to sleep. Each note conveys a clear message, no matter the inflection. We're still here. We were here before you were, and we never left. Rainey is protective of powwow culture, which was outlawed by the United States government for a generation. Defiantly maintained in secret by Native elders he deeply respects, while trying to figure out exactly where he fits into it and how he can fuck with it on his own terms. These are all my creations, but they're powwow songs, and our language is sacred, he says. And I was like, okay, I understand that. So our album is only vocals. I'm not recording when we're not supposed to, and I'm not giving our shit away. So Rainey would like you to conceptualize this song in this album, go check out the album, as him working at the door of a powwow after party. You can think of this like, hey man, if all these people are going to be fucking knocking and I'm the one answering the door, you're going to realize that I'm not the only one in this motherfucker. There's tons of people in here. So if I'm answering that door, I want to be like, hey, yeah, come on in. There's fucking tons of us in here. It ain't just me. And with that in mind, may the drum and the vibrations bring you wherever you need to go for the benefit of all beings.
Oh, someone's got toilet paper on their moccasin. Hey, just kidding. All right, host drum, change it up, boys.
And just continuing in relation to that offering, whatever that means for you, which could also mean not being in relationship to it. And now we'll offer. Oh my gosh, I was just about to ask if we were in Tara or Medicine Buddha, but I did realize that we're in Medicine Buddha. Got a lot of goodness going on lately, y'all. Beginning with Om, followed by 3. Om and La Sangye Kino Soha. Medicine Buddha, I pray that you know and look upon me now. Or in my words, like, Medicine Buddha, help me thank God. And followed by a few minutes of our main Tara mantra, and then we will offer the prayers entered into the prayer doc and close like we usually do. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I offer my voice in devotion to each and every one of you. In gratitude for how hard everyone's working. I hope you really trust that you're changing things. Om and La Sangye Kino Soha. Om and La Sangye Kino Soha. Om and La Sangye Kino Soha. And now we've been seen by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, angels, archangels, saints, witches, druids, heathens, spirits, and elements like starlight. And in that presence, we'll offer Medicine Buddha's main mantra. Om Tayata Bekenze, Bekenze, Maha Bekenze, Raza Sumangata Soha. Like this, I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering, and I release the energy of this prayer out to all the world so that we all may be liberated. Om Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Te Ata Om Begenze Begenze Maha Begenze Raja Sumangati Soha. Teata umbegenze begenze mahabegenze razuzumungarizoa. Teata umbegenze begenze mahabegenze razuzumungarizoa. Teata umbegenze begenze mahabegenze razuzumungarizoa. Teata umbegenze begenze mahabegenze razuzumungatizoa. 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 And now we will give voice to our prayers. And I also give voice and space and honor in this moment to all of the prayers left unwritten, unspoken, maybe even unspeakable. In the presence of everything that is true and everything with integrity. please be with us and swiftly accomplish these prayers. For myself and all beings that we can trust in possibility, especially of good things we have yet to experience in this life. For my grandson Oliver, who is depressed, may he find peace. May he be well in body, mind, emotions, and spirit. May his nervous system return to regulation, and may he find meaningful friendship. May I and his parents be guided in skillful ways, help him to alleviate his suffering. Prayers for Rob that his body, mind, and emotions be returned to regulation and may find peace. Prayers for myself that I may find peace. Prayers for the U.S. in this year of election that peace prevail over turmoil. May I find peace during this time and release from the fear that I am feeling around election outcomes and the future of our country. Prayers for my mentor who is experiencing long COVID symptoms. May they experience rest and wellness. And prayers for myself as I tend to some core woundings around intimacy. Please also keep me in your prayers as I am desperately seeking a new job. Prayers for myself as I navigate an arthritis flare and endeavor to keep my commitments. And prayers of gratitude for the blessing of soulful friends who make the madness look so small next to their divine light. Prayers for the end to all genocides and to the awakening of the masses. Prayers for my beloved and their family as they struggle to stay alive. Prayers for Rachel's continued recovery. May she feel loved and supported by her Sangha, friends, and loved ones during this time. Excuse me. Prayers for me as I recover from health issues, for NM, MR, and FL, who are dealing with health issues and recovering from surgery. Prayers for Lama Rod. Prayers that all beings may have what they need. Prayers for Francesca. May she be protected. May she have clarity, and may she trust her intuition. Prayers for Tom. May he choose his health over his determination to dissociate. May he learn to love himself enough to choose to save his own life by tending to his addiction with love and compassion. Prayers for Stefania and Tom. May they be healthy. May they know loving kindness and choose freedom. Prayers for all women and femmes. May those suffering at the hands of their oppressive states know peace, dignity, and strength. May they know love and stability. Prayers for my health and healing as my doctors decide if it's time to move to treatment for my cancer. Prayers for myself and all those grappling with depression and self-doubt. Prayers for any and all experiencing loss and confusion. Prayers for everyone who is hungry and hurting. Prayers for my beloveds and dear ones. May we all be free, whole, and together. For my beloved who passed last year, for our continued love and connection, for my grieving and opening, for all of our grieving and opening. Prayers for all my friends carrying new life. May they have support and community. Prayers for my friend KK, who desires so strongly to bring life, and mother. Prayers for my son Nasir and his partner Rachel as they seek to care for and love their children, Jen, Zahid, and Zuri, and Zariah, in a world and in a country that does not love them and works against their loving, their beautiful Black bodies and genius. Prayers for Shameless Majesty as she moves toward the anniversary of her son Sadiq's death. Prayers for me for a full recovery from flu following a year of illness. May I hear and understand the messages my body offers me and learn to tend its needs. Prayers for Rudy, who recently passed from this life. Prayers for my parents, who are mourning the loss of too many friends. Prayers for my friend, Rabbi Rachel Jurovics, apologize for the mispronunciation of a name, who died about 10 days ago, and my friend Baker Ward, who died 12 days ago. Prayers for Gaza and Israel that somehow miraculously peace can be found, and the trauma on both sides can be the basis for a healing that ends the endless violence there. For all the people, including myself, mourning both personal and collective losses that seem overwhelming. Continued prayers for my knee recovery and inner healing as well. Prayers to know how to help and how to be that help. Prayers for Lama Rod, may he receive the rest he needs. Prayers for this marvelous, loving Sangha. Prayers for all beings, including myself, experiencing grief, instability, transition, heartbreak, and loneliness. May we find our sources of refuge amidst the intensity. Prayers for Daniel, may he be supported and held. Prayers for P, may their physical symptoms ease, and prayers for the same for myself. Prayers for L, may they feel my appreciation. Prayers for KK's mother, Mary, who is in the hospital with complications from cancer and chemotherapy. May she become stronger and comforted, and may her family receive comfort. For myself and my partner as we move through conflict and the difficulty of having different needs, may we be curious, courageous, and kind with one another. Prayers for my little cousins, Noah and Grace, that they can know that they are wonderful and deeply valued as they are. Prayers for Patty, Janet, and the young ones in their care. Prayers for my friend Elle and her family who are stuck in Sudan, who she has lost contact with. Prayers for all the people in Gaza. May they all feel peace and safety soon. Prayers for my partner. May their health improve. Prayers for all mothers and pregnant people in Palestine. And I lift up prayers also for the people of Haiti who have been through so much. Invoking the power, clarity, and belovedness of Medicine Buddha and their assembly, all the known and unknown beings capable of working on our behalf, full of the energy to do so, joyful in the opportunity to accomplish their vows. Please hear our prayers. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering as swiftly as possible. And now returning to our Tara mantra. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Te ata begenze begenze maha begenze raja sumgare zoha. Teata umbegenze begenze mahabegenze razuzumungarezoa. 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 Now we'll move into offering Shantideva's prayer. May I be a protector. May we be protectors to those without protection, leaders for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. May I be a nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And would anyone like to volunteer to read the next one?
I will.
Thank you.
May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space.
And for the final one,
I'll do it. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space.
Thank you all so much for your hard work and for your labor. It's been an honor to be in space with you. As part of personal practice, I offer sincere apologies for any ways in which I blocked you from your freedom on accident or on purpose. Yeah. I once, before I left Instagram, this person, Andrea Renee, I have no idea if they're still on Instagram, but they said, you will do harm. Now what? And I always thought that was pretty effing dope and wise. And so I offer that in that spirit. And if you are able, please grant me patience and grace. I think that's a wrap. Love you all very much. Please take really great care of yourselves. Thank you all for being here.